Begin Self-Publishing, episode 147. Ben approaches the finishing line.
Interested in self-publishing but don't know where to start? Want to get your book onto Amazon? Want to hold your paperback book in your hands? Learn how on the Begin Self-Publishing podcast with your host, Tim Lewis.
As you probably guessed from the title, which takes all the dramatic suspense out of the episode, Ben hasn't yet finished his book, but he's very, very, very close. So in this episode, we talk to Ben and discover what it's like both to be in the manic period just before he finished a book and also what he's planning for his book relaunch. So with no further shilly-shallying around, let's get to the interview. Hello, Ben.
Hello. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit crazy, loopy sort of tonight. It's just been one of those nights. I'm excited, but I'm crazy.
Yes. Well, we are basically in the situation where it's 10:05 at night because of your frantic schedule. So can you tell the listeners where you've got to in your book writing project? Is the book out yet?
Oh, Tim, no.
Oh.
No. We're so close. So as we record this, probably about a week and a half away from launch. It's so close. It's with the final proofreader now. All the internal design is done. The external design is done. It's all pre-uploaded to Kindle Direct Publishing. So basically, I'm happy with how it all looks and feels. I just basically need the final edited version back and make a few little tweaks. But overall, everything is come together. I've started doing all the marketing literature and press releases. So yeah, it's a week and a half off, but I have one thing that could hold it all up.
Yes, and what is that one thing? There's always some tiny little thing, isn't there? But
it is, and this is when there's annoying things. It's not even like sometimes it'd be like, oh, you're being a perfectionist, or maybe there's things like that. You haven't got the design quite right. But no, this is something now that is out of my hands, and it's really annoying. So in the book, I've got 10 case studies. And one of the case studies on a publicly traded company. And basically, because it's a publicly traded company, anything that gets said about them needs to be approved by them. So it means that the case study is with them. And until I get that case study back and approved, I can't really go to print. So it's one of those things like they want to care about what people say about them, obviously. But because it's such a small thing, obviously it falls off the radar and stuff. So it's like I need to try and get them along a little bit, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that will come in time for me to launch on March the 5th is the proposed date.
Okay. And have you got any contacts at that company to sort of chase up with? I mean,
is there
somebody saying it should be done at this date, or is it just in a legal void somewhere in the legal?
It's in a void somewhere at the moment, but I have some contacts there to chase up, so I will be doing that as soon as we finish on this show, Tim. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay. So, in terms of formats, are you doing like ebook or ebook and paperback or paperback? What formats are you doing out the gate?
Yeah, ebook and paperback. I explored the option of hardback stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people, there's a lot of a mixed sort of response online of whether you should go do one or the other or both. And I decided that hardback actually, it was nice. It was nice to have, but really actually, how many you actually really sold and the real value in that, was it really worth the cost for people? I decided to not go down that route. I think maybe it's something I would explore in the future because I think it gives a really nice professional edge. It looks really smart, but I decided to not go down at least that one. This being my first book, I wanted to just get a paperback one. I was happy with that for number one. Maybe in the future I'll be like, you know what, I wish I'd had it in hardback. I'm sure I can turn it into a hardback at some stage anyway, but I felt like it wasn't worth the extra effort that it needed right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've never ever created any hardbacks. I've seen people create hardback books. I think you're right in that there could be a cachet of having a hardback book. If you're at an event or something and you want to give out copies or you want to be like impressive looking that you've got your hardback version. But yeah, nobody's going to really buy the hardback version online unless they're a bit of a nutter, really. There's a paperback version available. And
well, that's it. I think, yeah, if you go out to an event or you want to give something like a really posh, almost like a posh copy to someone, then it's great. But I mean, I don't go out and buy hardbacks. The reason I've got hardbacks is if I've been on someone's pre-order list or something, and I was like, okay, that's nice to have. But yeah, I don't go out and buy hardbacks. But it's something to explore for the future. And there's no reason why I can't bring out a special edition or something with a hardback in the future. But I thought to get it out, I wanted to make sure that quality of the book was what was important more than the whether it was hard or soft.
Yeah. Okay. What else? So it sounds like you've got quite an extensive marketing campaign lined up. So what exactly is all going to happen when you're in the first couple of days that your book is available, assuming that it all goes to plan and that the people come back, say, tomorrow with the approval for the press release?
Well, the nice thing is you think it's all a plan. It mostly is a plan. So I've lined up a couple of press releases for that. So that's through one for industry press, one for local press, one for general. So as I've been doing the build up to the book, and as I've been doing all the build up, I've been featured on a number of podcasts and spoken at a number of events, and it's trying to build up that awareness. So hopefully it's something that's already sort of catching on a little bit. So I want to do a press release to capitalize on that. Speaking at events and conferences is something that I've been really pushing for. So I was speaking at an event tonight. I'm speaking at a conference in April, another one in June. I've got a smaller event in May, and it's trying to build up that portfolio and that awareness of what I'm trying to talk about in the book, which I think is hopefully a really nice thing for conferences organisers to have. So that's something else I'm pushing. I'm going to probably do a Thunderclap campaign just after as well, or even probably a week after, so once the initial surge has gone of people buying the book. I've planned to do a Thunderclap campaign sort of a week or so later, so that way it almost so it doesn't completely drop off the radar, so all those people initially get it there, and then actually a week later or just over a week later, when everyone's got the book, they can then actually do part of Thunderclap campaign, which again keeps hopefully the book ticking over and keep it nice and high on the Amazon charts. What else have I got lined up in there? You're racking my brain now. Speaking, I've got a load of social stuff as well, so creating a load of social posts. I also plan, which I haven't told all my case studies yet, so I probably should tell them that I hope we want to do a live video or a special edition of each of the podcasts, my podcast with them, so we can really talk about the case study in the book and actually talk about what they're doing, how they're doing it, what the future holds for them. So I'll be really embracing that element. And I've got in the marketing plan, I'm also toying with the idea of potentially doing a webinar as well.
Yeah.
So actually it's almost like doing the presentation that I would give at conferences, obviously online, and trying to do it in a way that obviously that people can get something out of it and actually see what it means in action, and then obviously talk on more podcasts as well. Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's reasonably extensive. I haven't coherently joined up in terms of this is a step 1, 2, 3, 4. I've started creating all the stuff, and I know this is how my mind works. So for anyone that listens to my podcast, I have a pretty crazy mind, and I sort of I write all this stuff down, and I join up all the dots later.
Yeah, I mean, my cynical brain is coming out a bit. As in, the trouble with things like press releases or even social is that a lot of the time people might sort of see it, but people seeing your press release in the local press, they might say, oh, well, we'll put a story in next week or something. Or they're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I think it all depends. I've done enough press releases to be able to get it, and that's why I've written 4 different press releases to try and give it the best chance. So there's ones focused on, there's not that many people who are doing marketing and potentially doing things like I'm doing in my local area, and it's something that the news editor and the business editor in Newport, where I live, will be interested in. And then obviously releasing the book, doing talks in certain areas, just have intrigue, because I'm doing a few talks in Bristol, so it's there's a bit of intrigue there, industry stuff, because it's a slightly different concept of what a lot of other people do. It's not just talking about content marketing, it's sort of a way of thinking. Then hopefully that's something that other industry press may pick up. Yeah, some of them will go, nah, not for me at all. Absolutely fine. But I think I'm one of those people that I've got an idea that it may work. And if it does, brilliant. If it doesn't, I haven't really lost anything. Because the good thing about the good thing about press releases is it's not paid for.
Yeah.
So it's all earned media, and actually, hopefully, the quality of the content, the press release itself, will help it stand out.
Yeah. Okay. Now, it wasn't so much whether it's effective or not, just the ability to control when the actual press articles come out, even if it is effective.
Yeah, I think hopefully those, because it is timely, as in the book has just come out, they're usually pretty good because it's timely. For them, if it's newsworthy, it's timely as well. So actually, hopefully with some of them, it will be quite quick because it's like, well, it's news now. Now, if they do it a week later, it's not news anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so you've got that. You've got your marketing more or less sorted out. Is there anything else that you're, you've just done it on the KDP dashboard at the moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I've done it on, ebook and the paperback on there, yeah.
Okay. What thought have you given to like categories and keywords and that kind of stuff on the KDP dashboard?
Right, that I can actually, let's see if I can bring up my KDP now actually. Look at that, should have been totally prepared. You could have warned me about this, Tim. Right, let's have a look in this. So I think you have to use this. I've used the same keywords and categories at the moment, so I don't know whether this is a good thing or not. So maybe this is obviously what the podcast is all about, trying to find out. So in terms of keywords, I've got marketing, buzzwords, personal branding, influence, marketing leadership, thought leadership. Those are my 7 keywords so far. And categories, I've got marketing general and personal success.
Okay.
Marketing general one, I wasn't sure because it is marketing general, but I wasn't sure whether to put that in or take it out. And the same with the keywords, whether I keep the one generic like marketing there or whether you take out that sort of general short tail stuff and focus on slightly more medium to long tail stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would look for a more specific category than marketing general, but what do I know? When you actually have the book, you can email KDP support and get it added into extra categories. So it's not just limited to those 2. So you could actually have up to 16 categories, I think. But that I have tried the email KDP support thing, and they usually put it in some random subgroup of the categories that you give them. But you can still get in more categories than the 2 there. So, but I would put marketing general because it's just
too general.
It's too general, basically. That is the branch with all of the subcategories of marketing in it. So,
would you do the same for keywords then?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'm not really a keyword expert on Kindle. There is actually, I think Dave Cheston or somebody's got this KDP Rocket thing, which does loads of sort of keyword analysis on Kindle keywords. But yeah, I think, you probably don't want marketing in there because marketing is probably too general a keyword. Though I'm not sure what you replace it with, really. You need to look at the book.
Yeah, because I thought it was quite general, but obviously because it's literally got marketing not even once, but twice in the title. So I don't know whether that was like enough, whether it needed the keyword, or the fact that I wanted it to be quite heavily played. Obviously, it's geared towards marketers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe give a little bit more thought to that one. I'll have a look at the categories to see if I think removing of the general marketing general from the categories and add it in later, because I can just basically say to KDP, I didn't add it into the general one. Can I have it into the general one, please?
Yeah, we'll pick a couple of them. I mean, as I say, I think it's 16 maximum, but I wouldn't go that far. But like, if you put in 5 or 6 categories, then if it applies, of course, I mean, it's like, but they're usually so general, and it's not even necessarily even marketing. I mean, the self-help and other sort of non-fiction categories, there might be ones where it kind of applies. So just giving yourself a chance to appear in any chart is worthwhile, even if it's kind of like social media or something like that.
That's a good idea. Good plan. This is every day's a learning day, Tim.
Oh yeah, it has to be. Have you got your own ISBN numbers, or are you using their one? I'm going to use their one.
I was going to use their one. I didn't see any real downside in using their ISBN, unless you know any different.
Well, there is potentially, but in your case, it might not make sense to buy an ISBN. The reason why a lot of indie authors buy ISBN numbers, well, there's a couple of reasons. You can use them for ebooks as well. There's a very minor reason you might want to use it for an ebook, which is some of the obscure ebook stores around the world are available won't take your book unless you've got an ISBN number. But they're kind of like in Asia and other places. So if you go through something like Publish Drive, then they won't let you submit to stores that need ISBN numbers. But that's the only real reason for ebooks to have ISBN numbers. In general, it's a waste of time to have ebooks. Now, for paperback books, if you use KDP or the CreateSpace's free ISBN, then your book will be listed under the publisher of being like KDP, Amazon KDP, CreateSpace or whatever. I don't know what the current Amazon publishing. And also there is an issue that you can't then republish the book easily on another service like Ingram Spark. So if you wanted to do actually in the case of the hardback, you could actually create a brand new ISBN for a hardback, but that's another story altogether. But let's say you wanted to have your book available as a paperback on Ingram Spark, which is a rival service for creating paperback books. They have the advantage that they've got access to the whole Ingram book ordering network for selling in bookstores. And they also give you much better pricing options so that bookstore might actually stock your book. So a lot of indie authors will buy their own ISBN number and put that on the KDP one so that they can use the same ISBN number for, if they want to use it, get another version from Ingram, for example, Ingram Spark.
Yeah. And
the same is if you want to do it if you wanted to do a print run separately. I mean, obviously, if you're not planning to, it's really more an issue with ordering the book, to be honest, because you can't create one ISBN and then another one for the same format of book. So then we got KDP's version sitting out. So it's kind of like a future expandability thing, having your own ISBN number for the paperback. But if you're not thinking that realistically you're ever going to want your book stocked in bookstores, or are you going to be doing something along those lines, then it's probably not an issue. But it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thought. I definitely will consider that an option. I don't think it's something I'm worried about too much about, but if it helps future-proof the book, then it's definitely worth considering.
Yeah, I mean, the downsides of having an ISBN is you have to pay for them, which you can save a lot by buying them in bulk, but even so, it's kind of it's not cheap. And the other thing is I think it's changed now because they've actually, Nielsen when I first ordered my ISBNs, you had to do it like a paper-based approach and send it off to them. It was ridiculous. Now they've got an online ordering thing, but it's not something you can do right away. So I think it's you get them given after a few days. So It's another potential delay in the process. Certainly my first paperback books were delayed because of waiting for the ISBN numbers to come back. So that's another thing to consider against the ISBN number argument.
Yeah, it's going to be, the books, I've still got a little bit of time. So this takes only a couple of days, but it's definitely something I'll look at tonight/tomorrow.
Yeah, well, probably tomorrow, given that it's 10:30.
Yeah. One other thing I've thought of, actually, going back to that categories, would you email KDP now, or would you email them actually after the book is launched? I assume you do it now, but also I'm sort of thinking that you wouldn't email them until after it's actually out.
Yeah. Well, they can't change the categories until your book's actually released. So it doesn't appear in those categories thing. It's bizarre. It's just when your book's available, you suddenly see, it's in these extra categories. So there are extra categories that you can't even select them in that tool.
So they'll automatically so even though I select 2 categories, my book will automatically end up in another number of different categories, whether I choose to or not?
No. What happens? Well, sometimes there's a whole because the categories you pick in that KDP interface, right, are general global categories for that book, both for paperback and for. Now, in the US and in the UK, there are special categories for loads of non-fiction, and for some reason, the UK's got a huge amount of autobiography categories, for example. Now, those are the kind of ones where you can't get into those categories normally. Now, they do say on the KDP Help there are some categories that you will get into if you put particular keywords in your keyword search. So it might be the case that if you put marketing in the keywords, it will actually put you in that general marketing category. I don't know. I'd have to look at that kind of help on the KDP thing to say, but it's kind of like it puts it in the US on like some special category, and like it's very odd the way the keywords and categories work in Amazon. So your best bet is to go onto the Amazon.com, the US one, which is kind of where you want to sell the most, really, if you can, and look to see any specialist UK or US categories, and then make a note of them that apply to your book. And then after your book's out, mail those that KDP support and ask them to put it in those categories.
That's a good idea. Right. It's all these little tricks of the trade, you see, Tim. That's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah, it's only I followed them as well. Did I mention this to you before? Somebody I mentioned it to. It was like Goodreads and sites like that. After your book's out, you want to go and claim your book, create your book on Goodreads, because I didn't with my book. And then a load of people reviewed it, and it assigned the book to a totally different Tim Lewis as the author, because I was down as Timothy Michael Lewis, because that's what my other books are basically created under. And Goodreads and some of that at a particular site lets the users, people reviewing the book, create the book if it doesn't exist. So that's something that after you put it on your like day 2 or whatever, go into Goodreads and set up your book and set yourself up as an author on there.
That's a good plan. I think it was me you mentioned it to before, and I have it written down in my notes from the last podcast. I haven't reviewed them yet, so I haven't. Well, Catch decided to start attacking me. No, I'm with Tim. Shredder, bad. I'm with Tim.
I think Shredder's been on the show before, though. He's like, was it her? His time in the limelight. They're very attention-seeking cats. So.
Yes, can you not see that I'm talking to Tim now? This is important stuff. So I'm so sorry about that, Tim. Lambast him later.
Yeah. While we're talking about like Goodreads, another thing that you can set up is what's called Amazon author profiles. And I think I need to set one of these up myself for my new author name. It's called like Author Central or something like that. Now, I'm not sure if you can do that before you've published a book. I don't think you can.
I haven't seen anything like that.
No, you have to go. It's not the same as it's a separate interface. So like you can set it up in the US, the Amazon.com one, and you set one up in Amazon.co.uk. Basically, it's somewhere where you log on to, like, I think it's Amazon.com, and you set up like if you're on like the ebook store, for example, and you go to like Mark Schaefer's book. Yeah. If you click on his name will be highlighted if he's set up an Author Central. I think it sets one up anyway. But you click on it.
So basically it tells you where all the books are and stuff, I assume.
Yeah, but you can customize that page and put your own description in and like put a like link to your blog and everything like that. So I'll try and dig out some stuff and send it to you. But yeah, it's called Amazon Author Central, and you've got one for each store if you want it. Well, I think it may be only Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. And they're separate profiles on each store. So you probably want to set one of them up as well. I'm not sure you can do that. You might be able to do that now. I don't know. But I think you need to have a book before you can set up an author profile.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of weird stuff that you can do on Amazon. So, any other? I think we've thought about just about everything. Well, the other thing we talked about a bit before, which is a bit of an advanced thing, and I don't do, so I can't really criticize you for doing it, but you might want to consider it because you need extra work, obviously, because you're not busy at all. Was the whole Amazon affiliate tracking thing. So if you set up, you probably already got an Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk Amazon affiliate link for your podcast and other things, have you? Or?
I haven't yet. It's on my to-do list. It's on actually, I believe it's on my marketing stuff anyway, my marketing to-do list.
Yeah. Well, when you set up, describe what an affiliate is to anybody who doesn't know. It's basically that if somebody clicks through from your affiliate link to Amazon, they will pay you probably like 2% or something of the sale price of anything that people buy, depending on the product. Now, the good thing about this is that you can set them up with these different IDs within the same link. So it puts on a different code at the end of it. So it might be like Ben, your link, and then you'll have Ben, and then you'll have Slasher and whatever.
Yeah, it could be so. I could put like MB podcast for the Marketing Buzzword podcast, or I could put podcast guest or something. So I get any guest, or like if you go to, I guess you go to a conference or something, and you put the special link up there. It says, "Look, everyone, But
the good thing about that is that you can work out where you're getting your sales from. So you could have like your social link or whatever, and then you could have like a page you send the press release things to. So you see how many sales you actually get directly from the the press. It depends if it's online press, then they might have the link. But if it's printed press, then you're not going to be able. But you can if you send them to a particular page or there's all sorts of ways of doing it. It'll give you some idea of where you're actually getting your sales from, which is useful for the next time you do a book, because you'll know that like the PR campaign didn't get you any sales, or maybe the PR is where you got all the sales from, or you got all your sales from people on the podcast coming through, because that's kind of the link you sent them to. It's something to consider in terms of trying to track, because it's very hard to track book sales in general, and affiliate links are probably one of the easiest ways to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, isn't it? Because the fact that just having any sort of attribution to the book is going to be better than having no attribution. So anything that I can help justify, and I can sort of see what's worked well, what hasn't worked well, will be good. But obviously, things like the press releases will be to obviously encourage book sales, but obviously that's quite obviously an awareness-driven thing as well. So it'll be interesting to see sort of the balance, and by having the affiliate codes, you'll be able to do that. I guess the benefit of using the affiliate code as well over any other sort of tracking, because you could just set up UTM tracking codes and stuff, is the fact that actually, obviously, one, it's an Amazon stuff, so, and you get the payback as well, which is actually more of an affiliate than just a tracking code, which is always nice. And if you set up any of these affiliate codes, can you give discount off by setting these affiliate codes? So if someone used that affiliate code, could you say people who use this code get 10% off the sale price?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
You can set Amazon discounts and stuff, can't you?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought you could set like discounts. You could do limited price runs at like 99p for your ebook and stuff.
Well, yeah. If you're in the KDP Select scheme, which you probably will be, because you're only going with them, yeah, you can run these countdown deals. That's for a select period of time, though.
Okay.
That's not kind of like a coupon scheme. I mean, it's a shame that they can't do coupons, but no, it's kind of like that is a limited price run, basically. So it reduces the price of your book to 99p for, say, a week. And puts countdown deal, exciting stuff on your Amazon listing. But no, we were talking about UTM codes. UTM codes are like, that is something that is great for your tracking to your website. But because Amazon is an external website, it's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if being able to track anything, you're saying, so obviously sending anyone if it was to my website to be able to work out how many people were interested in the book from my site, then it'd be useful, and from the podcast. But trying to get actually to the Amazon affiliate store, Amazon to actually buy the book, you'd lose all that data. So
yeah, I mean, that's the trouble. I mean, you can actually set up, I think I've got this set up on my site, where you can track clicks out to Amazon. But I mean, they need Google Tag Manager, and it's actually quite advanced for like a little piece of data. And you still don't know if the people have actually bought on Amazon. That's the trouble. Just because they click through to Amazon, they might think, oh, whatever. I mean, one issue actually with affiliates is, well, it's a good and a bad issue, is that if they buy anything else, that comes into your tracking. So if like somebody uses your affiliate link and goes and buys your book, but then buys a massive driving lawnmower for like $2,000 or something, you're then going to get this massive spike of affiliate money, when it's kind of like I've sold a lot of books, and then it's like, oh no, I haven't actually, when you look at the actual figures. So yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, if people want to click on my affiliate link and they want to buy a £2,000 whatever, then you're absolutely more than welcome. Please do.
I think I tried that once. I put like an advert for some expensive thing on. Nobody clicked on it, but I thought, well, you never know. So, yeah, I mean, it's something you want to sell. I mean, you get hardly anything from affiliates, but then again, it's like everything counts, and it's like any extra money you can make, all the better.
Oh, so yeah, something's better than nothing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think that's covered basically everything for now. We're just like in a holding pattern until your book's out.
Yeah, we're circling around the top of the airport at the moment, ready to get that docking sequence authorized.
Yeah, hopefully your landing gear can work properly.
Yes, I hope so. We don't run out of fuel mid-air. And they've
actually finished the airport, so...
Yeah. Oh, let's not go to that bit. No, God, please don't. No, it will be fine, yes. March the 5th proposed date. And that's the dream. So.
Yeah. So I should probably talk to you, I guess probably April now, and see how your release went. And then you can be the first person who's gone through the whole process. Hey!
Oh, God. I mean, it's always nice to be someone's first, I suppose. So I'll take that. I mean, the first is rarely ever the best, though. So don't judge me on that. But I mean, being the first is always nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, strictly speaking, Holly Chessman has actually beaten you, but she only had one show. She wanted to know the last stage. So you're not quite the first, but you're the first long-term one.
Yes. Oh well, we'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm happy with the book. I think there's bits that I could maybe do better, things I'd change a little bit, but overall I'm like, I'd be so glad to get it out now, get into the wild and just see. I know it's not going to be perfect, but I tell you what, I've given it a damn good go, so that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thanks for coming on the show again, Ben.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please stop by iTunes and rate and leave a review. This helps make the show more visible. For free resources, show notes, and other helpful content, join the community at beginselfpublishing.com.